Hello friends, welcome to this tutorial. So in this tutorial I am gonna show you how we can get the last message of a user in our message list screen, and I'm also going to show you how we can get the latest message of a user in our message list screen. So here I have to code something in our dashboard screen. So inside this I am going to create a new promise function. So just before this, new promise, basically I'm use this promise function because if I get the result after that I have to execute some more codes. So for that purpose I have used the promise function, because as we know promise function is used basically because of the result which is returned by the current function. If the current function is dependent on the next function, then you have to use the promise function, or also we can use the async await. So I'm going to use here like the promise function. So just writing the code for the promise function, resolve comma reject. So here just add this, and I'm also going to add some more fields like last message, a proper date field, so that we can sort that date according to ourselves and get the latest message. Now I'm going to use this for each loop, and inside the else I'm going to create a object, new user object, where I have to put some more fields like user ID, comma username, user propic, proper date. So this is our object, and I am going to use this object. So now I'm going to create a new promise function. So inside this promise function I'm going to call one more database query like Firebase dot database dot ref, and inside the ref I'm going to use the message table. So just let me confirm the table name. I'm going to use the same table name as we have used in the, so just copy this and paste here. I'm going to use a new query for the Firebase real-time database, where we can get the latest or the last value of our table. Child dot child, and I'm going to use the value here like the UUID, and inside that child.val.uid, because we know our table structure in our database, so I have to use this. And after that I'm using a method order by key dot limit to last. So here you can see what it returns: generates a new query object limited to the last specific number of children. So in this way we can get the last row of a table like the message, and I'm going to limit this 1. So this maximum number of row, like the I'm going to use the last row only, so I have to put here 1 dot on, and here I have to pass the value and comma. Data snapshot. As we all know that there are many numbers of users in our database, and sometimes we see that a new user will not chat with anyone, or a new user has not any message in their list. So in that case I have to check if the user has any message or not for getting the last message. Otherwise we enter the last message of that user as a blank or null. So here I am going to put some conditions like data snapshot dot val snapshots dot val to check if this user has any message in their database or not. If yes, then I am going to use the for loop here. Child. Now I'm going to add the last message equal to child dot val dot let me check the field's name in the message table. Inside the message dot img image or msg. Message dot image. So if there any image which is lastly sent to any user, so in that case I have to put photo, otherwise I have to show the last message. Child dot val dot message dot msg. So in the same way I'm going to get the last date also. Just copy this and paste here. Field name is date, so just date. Last time, so I'm going to copy the same and just replace the name with, just replace the date with time. Now I'm going to create a proper date, as we have also used the proper date field. Just copy this, just add this both field like plus a space between them plus time. After that, if there is no any value or not any message of that user, so in that case I have to put this as empty. Add some data to our new user object, like new user dot user id is equal to the UUID, or we can say child.val.uid. So just copy this and just paste here. So in the same way I'm going to assign the value to our username. Just copy this and paste here. New user dot user topic equal to, just I'm going to put the name image here. So just save this. Now I'm going to return this new user as a resolve. Return resolve, and here just I'm going to pass the new user value. So when this, so let me code, and I am going, after that I am going to dictate your, show you how is this working and how we can get our desired output. So as you can see, we have returned our new user here. Then I have to get those new user here, because a promise function return something as a resolve. So I am going to get that new user here and going to use that new user and modify that according to ourselves. Now as we created a user list or user array dot post, so just copy this and I'm going to use the same username, UID, image URL. So just for the UID I'm going to use this, for the username I'm going to use this, for the user profile field I'm going to use this. Now just copy the last message part, just copy this and paste here, and I'm also going to remove this. So now here I am going to add the validation for the proper date. So if any user has any proper date, or is if any user have any last date, so in that case, if last date have any value, I'm going to convert that date otherwise I'm going to pass null as a proper date. So you must think why we use this proper date. So I'm going to show you why I am going to use this proper date field here. So now I'm going to set the states here and just put the order as it is, and now I'm going to sort this according to the latest date, A comma B. So you must, so you will find this function for sorting a date according to the latest date in the Google also. So you can find, you can search or implement that in your application. So I'm going to use that B dot proper date minus A dot proper date. So as you can see here, I use the function sort function for sorting our date according to the latest date. So you can find this function in the Google also. So now I am going to show you what we used here. As you can see here we wrote the code for getting the users list in from our database. So after that I am creating a promise function. So according to that we can get the last message, latest message, or we can say the last message. So why we use this promise function? So we use this promise function because if there, because this, so after that I have created some fields like the last used message, last date, last time, proper date. So I am using this for getting our latest message and at the top, and also getting the last message of a user. So for this I have created these variables. So as you can see here, I have looked through each of the data from our database, what we got from our database, and here you can see that if the current user, if we got the current user or the current logged in user, so in that case I have to set the state for the logged in user name and the image URL for that, and if the user is not the current or the logged in user, so in that case I have created a new user object where I put some field like user ID, username, prefix, last message, last date, as you can see here. So in that case I am also creating a promise function where we can get the latest data for our message. So here we can see, here you can see that I have created, or I have write a new query for getting the last message or the latest message from our real-time database from the message table. Here you can see I have write a query like firebase.database.ref message. So I'm pointing to our table messages of our database, and after that I have to call the child, and inside that I have also called the child, as you can see here. Inside the message table, this one is our first child, and inside that this one is our second child, and inside that we can get the number of messages. As you can see here, there are two rows. So this user chat with to that user. So this user has two messages of that particular user. So for that I'm use this child, and after that I'm ordering that by the key. So our key is this one. These are the keys. So it ordered that according to our key, like the order by value or order by date. So it ordered that according to that. And after that I have to use a method like limit to last, so we can get the latest message according to that ordering. And after that I have to loop through that value, like here you can see value, here you can see the data snapshots. So I use the data snapshot, and I'm going to check the data snapshots has any value, like if the users chats to anyone or not. So if the user does not chat to anyone, so his last message, last date, last time and proper date are empty. And if the user chats to anyone, so in that case I'm going to loop through the value and set that like last message, last date, last time, proper date according to the data which is stored in our database. So after that I have assigned those value to our object which we created, like the new user. So and after that here you can see I have created a promise function, so you must return something. So here we can return the new user which we get from our database. So this one is the new user for the first time, so it looped through each of the users and we can get the new users accordingly. Now if it returns new user, then we have to get that return our response from that promise function. So after getting the response I have to assign that in an array like user.push, where we can set our data accordingly. And after that I have to set the states, and here you can see I have to sort the data according to the latest date. So now I'm going to write some more code. So now I'm going to return the resolve here, or return our data what we feed here. So here I have to return the user's value. So now I'm going to get that return value here. So just copy the same code here. So just copy the same code from here. I'm going to paste it here. So as you can see, I have wrote the code for getting the last message and the latest message. So now I'm going to check if it is working or not. So for that I'm going to put the last message field just below the username, and I'm going to put the font weight just to 600 and the font size will be 14. So just I'm going to click, so just save this and see if it is working or not. So yes, here you can see I have get the last message like in CodeHunger. We get the last message in the same way. In the Elon Musk, I have sent the photo or the image, so we get the last message as I have sent the photo. You can see here I have added that, like if the last message is image, so for that child.well.message.image, if the image field is empty, then in that case I have to pass the message value, and if the image field is not empty, so in that case I have to pass the photo. So here you can see that we get the latest message and the last message. So now I am going to show you how we can show the last date or the date of the message. So for that, just reduce this to 60, 70, and just copy this and paste here. Put here, I am going to pass last time. So just make it to 400 and its font size must be 13. So here you can also see that the latest message will be at the top. So in this way you can get the latest message and the last message from our database. So as you can see that we have implemented all the chat feature inside a React Native application using our real-time database. So here in this application we have used the Firebase real-time database and the React Native. So you have seen that how we can register a new user, and after that how we can log in by using that credential which we registered, and after that how we can get the list of the users registered to our application, and also we have seen that how we can chat between two different users and also send emails to them, and also we have seen that how we can update our profile picture accordingly, and in this tutorial we have seen that how we can get the last message and the latest message at the top. Thank you for watching this tutorial, and thank you for watching this whole series.